The Eastern Cape Liquor Board is among the authorities investigating the circumstances that led to yesterday's tragedy. 21 teenagers died at Enyobeni tavern in East London. Preliminary forensic assessments have revealed that children hadn't necessarily died of natural causes or a stampede, as it was initially speculated. Let's get you the latest on the ground now. Natalie Malgas is watching the story. She's live to us from East London. And Natalie, of course, now there's all kinds of conversations around the future of this establishment, since we now have been able to ascertain that they did allow young people, people under the drinking age, into the actual institution. And that, in part, has led to this tragedy.
That's right, Ayanda. In fact, just listening to some of the community members over the last few days, they said this seems to be a regular occurrence. This is an establishment that's in a neighborhood setting, and while all of the checks and balances appear to have been ticked off in establishing this particular night spot, it was in the allowing of young people on a regular basis that many of these residents have raised issue with. We also heard from police that at this point no one has been taken into custody, has been questioned or arrested right now, despite some of the calls coming from the parents that not only should this establishment be shut down, but the owner should be held responsible. I'm now standing with a representative of the Eastern Cape Liquor Board, Mr. Msia, to elaborate a little further on what happens now. Before we get into the next steps, sir, was this an establishment in good standing that had done all the necessary community participation before it opened its doors?
Yes, indeed, I can confirm that the establishment has got a valid license. It was properly licensed, so they have actually been operating legally.
After what happened in the early hours of Sunday morning, what happens now? We're hearing from the parents they want this place shut down and for this to never happen again.
We understand the frustration of the parents. By the way, let us, on behalf of the Eastern Cape Liquor Board, convey our words of condolences to the families of the deceased. We are devastated as the Eastern Cape Liquor Board. We are greatly saddened by what happened at that liquor outlet. Look, we are waiting on the South African police to conclude their investigation, because I think it's important for us to get exactly what happened at that liquor outlet before we can, take any action. However, I must indicate that there are provisions within our act that allow us to act immediately. For example, we will be now invoking section 55 of our act, that allows us to close that liquor outlet immediately whilst all the processes are unfolding. So that's exactly what we're going to do, because we're very concerned with what happened there. It's something that should not have happened at all.
Is this an example to other establishments that may be operating along similar lines? Does this mean the Liquor Board and its regulatory team will be stepping up its inspections and its raids? I remember visiting and tagging along for raids during the hard lockdown during COVID. What has happened since then in terms of the raids and that visibility on the part of the Liquor Board?
Look, we are very disappointed, because we have been doing a lot of work as the Eastern Cape Liquor Board in trying to empower the liquor traders with the information, with the importance of adhering to the trading conditions, including not selling to the underage. So we are doing a lot of work. There is a number of programs that we have set up, including the liquor traders development. We also undertake police operations where we visit these liquor outlets to ensure that they comply. So that is why we are very devastated by this particular incident. We really feel very strongly that this should not have happened at all. However, as you are saying, we are going to step up our interventions now. We are going to ensure that we mobilize stakeholders as much as possible, particularly the community. We think that community has got a big role to play here in ensuring that they report these incidences to us as the Eastern Cape Liquor Board and the SAPS, so that we can take appropriate actions immediately. So we urge community members not to keep quiet. Please report to the Eastern Cape Liquor Board. Please report to the nearest police station whenever you see that the liquor outlet within your proximity is misbehaving, is trading irresponsibly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nsia there, Ayanda. So as you heard, parallel to the police's investigation, there will also be a probe by the Eastern Cape Liquor Board, and as a preliminary measure, they have closed this particular establishment, the Enyobeni establishment in Scenery Park here in East London.
Natalie Malgas, live to us there from East London. Natalie, for that live report, thanks very much indeed.